All right, thank you all for coming. It's now exactly 4 o'clock, and I'd like to call our regular board meeting of August 20th, 2026 to order. Our first order of business is approval for the meetings minutes until July 16th. If you have a chance to read over those minutes, I would entertain a motion to approve them. Second, all in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, now, we're going to open this up to public comments. We seem to have a lot of people here today. I don't know how many of you are going to comment, and so we're going to have to limit this to everybody who wants to comment. And so right now, I'll open it up to comments. Yes, we do.
My name is Steve Campbell. I have a comment about the early voting locations. First of all, I want to thank the chair, Ms. Kaplan, and the board members who have been bringing this up and advocating for it, and for staff who have been making the necessary movements behind the scenes to make it possible. And to the other people who are here, the voters, the Democrats, and the board, thank you so much. It's important to have the public input, and my comment is that a fourth early voting site would be very, very important. It's not a luxury or an entertainment thrill. It's one of the basic services that we pay taxes for. It's like public safety, it's like schools. So it's not an extra, it is very important. And in my opinion, there's no question that the mayor and commission have an obligation to fund this.
1 minute.
Thank you. I think that they must have the goal to make sure that voters who don't have proper access to transportation, or people who vote have a possibility to do that. So the fact is that there have been huge lines at the at early voting, up to 110 people. I'm a poll observer, so I count these people. Not including the handicapped people who in the 12 are up in front. we're expecting a huge turnout this particular election because of the general election. A lot of publicity, a lot of, efforts to
15
get out
seconds,
votes.
please.
So, there are new rules by the state election board, which require the poll workers to, have handwritten, numbered voter lists. That will increase the line, so it would be great to have another work.
I appreciate that. Okay, and who is next? Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, Commissioner?
Thank you. My name is Gwen Lucas, and it's been my pleasure.
Maybe not everyone.
Yeah,
I'm not sure you voted for.
today is my 50th anniversary. But I haven't been around that
See that road ain't after you lane and get there today.
All right. All right, here's my time, so.
Now, after all that.
Thank you so much. I want to express my appreciation, as Gigi has done, to all of you for your advocacy, because when we have come to the meetings, y'all have listened to us, and you've implemented a good bit of the suggestions that we made, and we are very, very pleased. But we're here today asking one more thing, and that is this fourth early voting site. The three that are in place now are wonderful. I raced with Henry Fickland to see if I'm gonna be the first one to vote early. I'm gonna beat him this time on October 13th. But there are a lot of people in that South Bibb area. They are isolated, not put aside, but they are way away from the other three early voting sites. So I hope that y'all will consider approving that, requesting that the county do that, and then we need to advocate for the county to go ahead and take action on that as quickly as they can. The money is there. There are a lot of things that are getting done in Macon-Bibb County. We salute that. This is one of the most important things, because I think the turnout is going to be tremendous. And I think there's a real need to address this beforehand, because there will be a tremendous turnout, and the people need to have that fourth site. I believe people have said that it takes 20 to 25 minutes to make it in from South Bibb to the three that are available.
15 seconds, please. You get another 10 seconds, Ms.
But anyway, okay, am I reclaiming?
Yes, you
Okay,
may.
I want to thank you, but I want to implore you to get on as quickly as possible. And meet after, if you vote affirmatively to do this, to meet very quickly with the folks at the county and get them to go ahead and do it, because we support. But if you take that action, we will support you 1,000%. And I want to thank you, but I still am out of breath from that long walk. Thank you very much.
All right, anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
You can stand up and speak up.
Oh, yeah.
I can't hear on the.
Sorry.
My ear is old.
My name is Julia O'Callaghan. Speaking today also to request to add out the rec center at the fourth early voting location for the November election. The reason why I'm here is because only 3 locations leave us significantly behind other counties that share the same approximate voter population. So Colton County has 160,000 voters, Clark has 86,000, Douglas has 115,000 each. Each of these locations has, or each of these places has 5 to 7 early voting locations, which is 1 per 17 to 19,000 voters, rather than here, we are at 1 location per 39,000 people. That leaves us significantly behind. So community members are driving the 20 to 25 minutes to get from the south end to the county all the way up here and Macon Mall. And then we also have this Macon Mall and hasn't historically been always accessible. So I think there's always an accessible location to it.
1 minute, please.
And We know that we can address these barriers to voting today here, and so I heard this without talking about
Okay, yes. There you go.
I am short, and I will stand. I'm Maureen Cobb, president of the League of Women Voters, and I too want to speak to the reason for another voting fight here, an early voting fight here in this county. I want to thank y'all and for all that you do to make voting accessible, and this is another thing that we need to do. The League of Women Voters is committed to equity. It's one of our fundamental principles. Increased accessibility to the electoral process is essential to ensuring that every American can exercise their right to vote. Right now, neighborhoods in South Bend don't have adequate access to early voting, and residents there often face barriers related to health, age, race, and gender are disproportionately burdened by that gap. Our democracy is strongest when every voice is heard. The League of Women Voters urges supporters to add another early voting location in that underserved area so that residents don't have to drive the 11 miles to get from that part of town to this location. And that's an underserved area, and we hope that all those residents can be treated fairly and equitably. Enjoy the opportunity to participate in the election process next time.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Kathy Albert, and I support everything the League of Women Voters is asking for. But I'm here to talk about the application for an absentee ballot. Have you all seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. I received mine and had to use a magnifying glass to read it. The print is so tiny, I'll pass it around so you can see it. It's confusing. There's a yellow bar that doesn't go all the way down the page, and it is on the back in one spot. I am looking at it. You're supposed to fill in the yellow, not the gray. The gray is for the primary. It also asks you to put a picture of your ID to include with it, or to do it online. I know that you all can't do anything about this now, but you certainly can have input for next year.
1 minute, please.
Do you have any questions you want to see it? Does anybody want to see it? Okay.
Did you bring it, I know what it's on, so you can look at it.
No, I didn't bring one.
Okay, I don't like to answer these, but those are printed by the state.
I understand that,
And if you put your driver's license come on, then you don't have to. Okay.
but it doesn't say that.
Yes, it does. Yes, ma'am.
I think that, we
Ma'am, can you stand up so we can hear you, please? I'm sorry, I can't. There you go, thank you.
I'm Diane Mitchell. I'm just a citizen. And, I would like it, the area to be more handicap accessible. It's hard, it's difficult to get in here, and I'm in a wheelchair down here.
Okay, next. Anyone? Yes, sir.
My name is John Roberts. Earlier this year, I've asked the mayor and county commission to begin preparing for federal attempts to intrude upon locally administered elections. I'm here today because ultimately that authority, I'm concerned about protecting, belongs to this body. Federalism is not self-executing. Georgia law can assign this board responsibility for conducting our elections, but those words do not defend themselves. They matter only if officials entrusted with that authority are prepared to exercise it when challenged. That has become considerably more urgent. Last week, an interviewer suggested directly to President Trump that he declare a national security emergency over elections as a means of bypassing Congress and imposing changes to election law. The president did not reject the idea and replied, stranger things have happened, and I'll leave it at that. The fact that the legal theory is deeply dubious is notwithstanding, because the danger is not simply the unlawful assertion of executive power might ultimately survive judicial review. The danger is what can happen before judicial review occurs.
1 minute,
Executive
please.
order can be signed in minutes, a federal demand can arrive moments later, records can be surrendered, access granted, equipment removed, or election administration disrupted while lawyers are still preparing to ask a judge whether any of it was lawful. The timing and asymmetry matters. A court cannot reconstruct an election after authority has already been surrendered. So I'm asking this board something specific, an assurance that you will not voluntarily abdicate the responsibility toward the law places in your hands. And further, please work with county commission, the county attorney, and any other appropriate staff. Conduct a joint tabletop exercise before the election.
15 seconds, please.
Simulate an extraordinary federal demand for voter data, removal of a key official, any effort to interfere with the election. Use that exercise to answer the questions. You cannot wait until the crisis. Who calls counsel? Who has authority to say no? Who seeks emergency judicial relief? How is custody preserved? Who assumes responsibility if any of you are removed? How does this board continue operating without interruption, and how quickly can it all happen? Identify any missing legal authority, staffing, funding, technology, or continuity procedures, and request the commission provide them now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your concern. Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir.
I received my vote by mail ballots for the primary and for the runoff on the Wednesday before the Tuesday election. Too late for me to decide to send that in by mail because the mail it's not under control. And so I just had to walk down to the precinct and vote. And is there any way to get those out earlier?
Well, of course, we'll talk about that later, but we're
Right.
and I think it is sent out of the line. The mail out of the line. That's what you got. Okay, thank you. Anyone else need to speak? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Francine Swan, and I am here in support of a fourth early voting location down in South Bend, because they need to be treated as fair.
Anyone else? Okay, let's move on for our new business. First, business call is, we've been asked by the county to put a couple of things on our ballot in November. I'll let our attorney handle that, so if you don't mind. Because I'll read the same to me. I got a headache.
Well, it is pretty simple, and it's non-discretionary, was passed by the House and the Senate in Atlanta. So section 3 of each of these bills reads as follows: the election superintendent, which is y'all, of Bibb County, shall call and conduct an election as provided in this section for the purpose of submitting this act to the electors of the Bibb County School District for approval or rejection. And it goes on from there, and there is a question in this particular bill that says, the question will be, shall the act be approved which provides a homestead exemption from Bibb County School District out of foreign practice for educational purposes in the amount of $17,000, the assessed value of the homestead for residents of that county who are between the ages of 65 to 74, in the amount of $32,000 for the assessed value of the homestead for residents of that county who are between the ages of 75 to 84, and in the amount of full assessed value of the homestead for residents who are 85 years of age and older. And that's the first bill, first question. The second bill also directs us to call the election for a question that says, it's a homestead exemption, or shall the act be approved which provides a homestead exemption from Macon County for county purposes. And it's in the amount of $17,000 for ages 65 to 74, $32,000 for 75 to 84, and the full amount of assessed value. One's for the school district, one's for the county. Yes, so to answer your question.
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
One's for the school district, one's for the county.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we don't have any discretion of it. We don't have, it's all we have.
Yes, approved.
We have a motion approved. Is there a second? All in favor say aye. All opposed like sign. Thank you very much. We'll get that on the ballot. Really? Okay, next is early voting locations. Is someone want to speak to that? On board? Okay, we can move into, staff report.
Mr. Chairman, I think that we do need to speak about this. I mean, I think there's a clear demand. One thing that strikes me as particularly noteworthy is that gap in coverage that we have in South Bibb. I've heard some interest in East Macon as well, but nobody there is driving an hour round trip to vote, and that's very realistic if traffic gets a little bit sketchy coming from South Bibb. And there are a lot of folks down there who are not necessarily coming up for any purpose. They're emotionally to Macon Mall or to the Landwood Senior Center, if they're enough to park. If you're working on the base, you're going there, you're going home, maybe you go and get some cheese at the nice Grover down there. We're leaving a lot of voters and potential voters inconvenienced. And we have, we checked the minutes here, we requested unanimously at the last meeting that an additional early voting location be investigated. And I would like to hear about the results of that investigation, and I would like to hear about what that process was.
We met with, Robert Walker, and one of their assistants, down in South Bend, and I went down there, and they found, a suitable room, and we tested the full pads, and all pads to communicate from that room, sometimes that's the issue. So, as it stands, the space is certainly suitable. We've also reached out, to see, which, poll workers might be available to learn that. 3 weeks at a time is a special. So we're waiting to hear back and find out what kind of numbers we have for that. We've worked out, essentially what the cost would be, and so we'll need the treasury. I've let the county manager know that was on the horizon, so I can be given a little more detailed numbers now.
Mr. Chairman, I probably would note that based on the charter, it is incumbent on the county for paying the cost of running elections. This, I believe, will be part of that. We're not asking for gold-plated voting machines or anything like that. We're asking for access to citizens. And the county has always been very helpful and cooperative in meeting the needs that we have here. I have no reason to believe that they would not be helpful in this next season.
I think I will comment on this. How many people in here are from South? One question. Okay, next one. What do you think about the people who live out of Boston? How long does it take them to go, like me, that live in Lozella? Takes me 30 minutes there and back. Don't you care about us? Thank you. Back to that.
This ain't a long time.
Let me finish. In 2022, we had a very big race. It wasn't a small one either. We had Brian Kevin, Stacey Abrams, and we had Herschel Walker, and we had Reverend Warnock. It was a tremendous election. We had 53,000 people vote, which is not good. Now, I'm all in favor of everything we can do to make it easier for people to vote. The fact of the matter is that we have asked them to fix our problem here, and the county commissioners have always, like commissioners have, done everything we want without question. And I think when we talked about, I think the majority, I can't speak to the rest of the board, about getting a new polling places for the next election in 28. Now we have to find 13 more individuals that want to work 3 weeks in a row without any time. Can we do that? I don't know the answer to that. We're 35 days away from our vote, maybe 6 weeks away from it. Starts October 13th. We're already halfway through August already. Am I against the fourth spot? Absolutely not. You all know me. I'm all for whatever it takes for people to vote and make it easier to vote. I just don't think there's enough time to properly do it between now and November. This is almost the last week Right everywhere. I think our turnout is, we have 53,000 people vote. That's 180,000, 47% turnout in 2022. And our turnout in the local elections is about 8%. Our turnout in state elections is 14 to 17. And it's true. It's terrible. And I don't think there's an easier way to make people go vote until we find candidates that people want to vote for. In opinion and things that people want to think about why you want to vote. So, my opinion is that, and I don't know whether it makes a difference, that I'm 100% in favor for it. Because 53% of our voters vote early. That's happening everywhere. And so I'm all in favor of having a fourth precinct, but not now. Not until 24. We got to digest this stuff. We got to get new people to walk out there. You have cameras to get out there, so we put the box out there. We haven't even got this finished yet. It's closed, but it's not done. Air conditioner don't work. I need cameras out there so we can move the ballot box out there. And so I don't want to distract from anything that has to do with that. Now, I also said the long lines we had, there and us, we wasn't available in June. Because we had a conflict. And so this place did get busy in June. But other than that, we did not have a lot of lines available. We had some. But, you know, then you have nobody voting in the precincts. So that's my opinion. I don't know if anybody else wants to express it. I'm sorry. That's how I feel.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I wanted to add conflict about fair people these added to the land fairly introducing.
Well, we always draw from our election day reports.
You got that man that can bill or would be willing to.
That's when we put the question out there. Some responses, but I haven't gotten hard numbers yet. Not as such, they one that it would be a cost. Right, so we worked out the numbers, so I'll let them know that number.
That is good. This thing is not so bad.
If the money's available, you can probably make it work.
I'm all for myself, but I want to make sure we can. You can't overwhelm people when it's working 3 weeks in a row without really well. I'm done with that part. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
regarding the finance, I think that we're at a point where today's precinct are getting past us. I would love to move to an election center model like they use in Arizona, rather than precinct model, but that's not what the state law allows. But it does allow us to have early voting locations, but it certainly allows us to have more equipment. I would also note that while I would love to see more people turn out, I can tell you that 47% turnout in a midterm election is ahead of the national average. It's unusually high. And do I want to drive that up? Well, yes, I would love to see everybody who is eligible and registered turn out to vote. But I think the bottom line is we've got some people who could be serving better. And I don't think we need to be dragging our feet on this. I think that I know how this is going to go, but I move that we approve 4 early voting locations for Macon-Bibb Recreation Center starting with the November election this year.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Being there's no second, we'll move on.
Mr. Chairman, I have one other motion. That we do go to have Macon-Bibb Recreation Center as a 4 early voting location starting at the next election after the November election.
Not including Ron.
Not including the one.
So I'll second that. All right, any discussion on having a 4th early voting site after this election is over with? Am I correct? Beginning in 2027, if there's any elections. Any more discussion on that? All in favor say aye. All opposed like sign. Okay, the motion passes that we will now present to our county, we have proper time to put in our budget to Tom, for, next year to put it in there so we can use it. And listen, the county has been fabulous. Ever since, I've been on this for 15 years, and they've never not done anything that we asked, period, from several mayors. So, I think it'll get done. I know you can do it, I mean, that's okay. Okay, let's move on to staff reports, please. There's some great news in here, and I'm very proud of them, so I want to call all of them very close on the staff.
For our registered voters, we have 108,386 are active, 9,324 are inactive, a grand total of 117,730. That was accurate as of the 19th. Now, this VDS number is actually not correct. It should read 21.
21?
21,
Instead of
not
280?
not 280.
Okay, does anybody know what that number was last month? 6,897.
Yeah, our registrars and some extra people
Thank you,
come
staff.
in. They worked very hard, and they brought that number down very quickly.
Good. Thank you.
We have 6, online registrations to deal with, and 34 voters are pending.
Any questions? Tom, why don't you just go and move into your supervisor report, so.
Sure. That was kind of that, and all of our registrars are to be thanked for that. I have almost nothing to do. We also had an online meeting with Thomas Bratz up in Hall County, and he talked me through ways to make sure that the voters are properly assigned to their proper districts and such. So, still a learning curve, but I will hopefully be able to handle that without having his invaluable assistance. The annex.
How close are we to making sure it's all?
I think everything is ready for this election. I'm gonna still double check it. I'm gonna make a process out of checking it on a regular basis. This is what we have new streets coming in all the time, new additions to streets that need to be double checked. Yeah. The annex is all the stuff. We're gonna have 4 voting machines without any real problems there. There's not gonna be a whole lot of waiting inside. So hopefully, come October, we'll have some nice weather outside. Actually, with that wait, but hopefully not too bad. The electricity works for machines, that would be loading breakers. So, still a few things needing done, but all the major hurdles have been taken care of.
What is that annex out there? What is it used for? Who?
Oh, that'll be for the elderly and handicapped.
Okay, define.
Sure. Handicapped is anyone over 75.
If that's not handicap, I know I'm almost handicapped, but I'm not that
Elderly or handicapped, anyone over 75 or
75. You know.
75.
Okay, now, keep going.
Yeah, or has some sort of handicap. We don't require the nature of the handicap. Just asking.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, on that, in my experience, people are generally fruitful, and if anything, they're more reluctant to use that facility that's made available to them. So even when people like up here, we were getting one of the 2 categories, you didn't have to wait a long line to come to the spot. But despite that, I think in general, people are very, very fruitful.
Couple things, Tom. First thing, you gotta get that camera and see the spot. Okay. You can't move the ballot box up there while it can. Because officially that becomes part of our building. It has to be up to 24-hour period. That will alleviate some of the walking there. And two, stuff for 75, that means hard, not hard walk. Okay? Want to make sure we have a golf cart. And if he says, if they say no, you let me know. Because we need a golf cart here because it's still a long walk, yes, we are.
The golf cart, I have to complain about it, not just scary and.
It's not. We need a golf cart that has
Bigger.
a back seat, a front seat, and I don't know how much we get it. We gotta figure it out, and put it in our budget, we own it ourselves, whoever, but we need a golf cart, I mean, in order for us to be compliant, we need a golf cart. That's mine. So let's work on that. Next thing, signage. I would like to somehow, if we have to rent a sign, I don't care, well, somebody will pay for it. That lets people know what's to their right and what's to their left when they walk. When they get up, when they drive up. No. Handicap from 75 over here, otherwise down the hall. We do have that line, so our signage is terrible.
We do have the handicap on the manner that we had for the, when we were at the courthouse, so. So that program.
That banner's not right. I don't like that people have signage that gives them at least as good directions to vote that they get to go.
But I think you need to put up like an electronic sign. I mean, I don't think, I thought the county had them, didn't they have some sign? Never mind. But somehow we're gonna get a sign of that 3 weeks. I think it's imperative because it's so confusing. I think the library has more time than you. Okay, Tom, those 3 things, sign, camera, and golf cart, okay? Anything else for Tom? You might be quiet.
Nothing for me today.
Yes, ma'am?
Somebody had a hand up over here.
Okay. Now we go back to public comments, please. And once again, 2 minutes, and yes, ma'am.
I'm Commissioner Wright from District 8, and I heard you saying about the people in Libreville, don't have a voting zone, but I remember when we were in a runoff, and they only had one poll open, one place here, because of the low turnout. And now that we had a higher turnout, why not open the 4th poll, and you said you don't have enough work? It's about 20 of us in here, and I didn't hear nobody say, did anybody want to volunteer? Oh, I mean, the people from Houston and Libreville put it in the paper, asked them, do they want to get training or anything? Because if it's 4 o'clock, they may be at work, I'm retired, so I don't work. But people will probably still at work and they might not know the option to have that poll open. So before you close stuff out, at least have the community about the feedback that they can be giving, because some people may like to travel up here, some people may not. And the other thing is we definitely have to have a golf cart. We got a golf cart last time during that runoff. I think it was like Thursday at 3 o'clock. And it was only 1 day left. And from what I was told, when this location was put here, all those concerns were in place. And that golf cart was one of the things that was supposed to be here. And the fact that every other election is here, sometimes it may not be here, we gotta see if it's here. If it's supposed to be in there because this center was put here, with that contingency in here, we need to make sure that we ask for the funding so that we can get it out.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, Mark.
Just a question, procedural question, and the wording of the decision to have a 4th site next year, does that mean it could only be a 4th site next year? Could we not come back to you and ask for an East Macon site and a LaSalle site?
So right now, it's just that one side. But
One site for 2027.
well, come back and ask us to do it anytime. We love you. Yes, ma'am.
Then we are gonna come back to like this.
Because it is a long drive. Yes, ma'am.
When you're talking about signs, please make sure that there's a big sign on the exterior door, no voting on election day.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. It will really here.
Yeah, here, yeah, right. Yeah, thank you. People come and ask, make
they have on track.
Commissioner,
Thank you. Don't that's to say, article that.
you can see it around, I can feel it already.
Yeah, needless to say, I'm very disappointed. Yes, because y'all could take this action and get it done. I've seen things take place. And your main responsibility is to facilitate elections, to facilitate the easy access to voting for citizens. And you've not done that by kicking this can down the road. I appreciate you making the motion. And I was sitting here, but surely these folks that are facilitating voting, oh, there's gonna be a second. You made a comment that you were in favor of it. And I'm just amazed. I am just amazed that we have a board here. You don't realize the power and the authority and the responsibility that you have. And I'm just saying this, I've gotten past whether people like what I say or not, if I'm telling the truth. There is a slowdown in everything that y'all propose. Y'all have thrown out, we made many suggestions, even suggesting a citizen or an organizational group that would assist with some of the stuff. A group such as that could pull together potential employees for that fourth site. Because I was thinking of some people that I can contact and would be willing to contact, and I'm sure others would as well, to have those people to come and provide employees to staff that fourth site or the fifth. I don't have a problem with that. Many places have a whole lot more than the four, maybe they're larger areas, but y'all are doing a disservice to me as a voter and all others who need to have that additional access. And so I am disappointed. I still offer to you that there's a lot that y'all discussed today that could take place for the upcoming election. What is the holdup other than voting and requiring your employees to do their job? And then check with the county, and they will do what you are asking them to do. So this should not be a delay. I am just so very disappointed in all of you who chose not to follow that.
I've had an opportunity to listen to a lot of information from a number of people from here and all along since I have actually attended the meetings here. One of the things that I am so baffled by is the fact that we have so many people registered, but we cannot get them to vote. What can we do to, is it education, is it location, is it the allowance of, for example, especially since we're in this particular place, what can we do to get people to vote here? And I think I'm seeing some inroads to that, as I'm seeing discussions that do bring some of the things up. I attend, but then there are times when I am not fully aware of some of the things that are happening. If I'm not fully aware, I'm thinking of the people who may not even know who you are. On what you do, and that's so easy to fix. I said easy to fix. It's going to take a lot of good communication that will actually be difficult. I mean, it got to come full circle. I mean, you can't just think that a person knows all the in and out. And I think you're making some headway into that. And I think, as some of us have mentioned, that if with information coming from a group like this who wants to attend and wants to be a part of this, we can give you more. And I really do appreciate everything you're trying to do, because I know you're under some type of restrictions, because I think of the fact that there are so many ways that there are hindrances to voting. It should not be.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, ma'am, Rebecca.
I want to know the request to appeal the decision that was just made, formally, and also that if it were helpful to bring in a proposal that would suggest people that are willing to help, how can we get that appealed and on the calendar?
Okay. Yes, ma'am, Rebecca.
If there was a shorter day on election day, if we didn't have to stay there for 12 hours, if you could get employees to stay for 6 hours instead of 12, I think that you would have employees sign up or propose. I would.
You ask for a volunteer to be involved?
6 hours, yes. 6 hours. 6 hours. Not 12.
I was just volunteer.
Oh. Yeah, teacher.
I have a comment. I believe that no one here wants to neglect Mozilla, but my understanding is that an early voting site must be either county owned or it must be an existing polling place. So it would be helpful to toss out the possibilities that are there in Mozilla to consider. Because I think that that is not considered because I don't think there was a recreation center to be considered.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
She touched on what my comment was going to be, that regarding the South Macon place, it was that we had, or the board had learned that there was an option available there. And I have sat in on several meetings months back where this was brought up. So my disappointment is, why does it seem like my observation is, why does it seem like no action takes place between meetings so that things get done? So that by the time we get to the next meeting, there should be a report on what has already taken place, not what we need to do. Because you already discussed it at a formal meeting. And we expect actions to take place between meetings so that new information is available at this meeting. And I just observed that too often. And I don't know who's dropping the ball or where the ball is getting dropped, but it needs to, I second everything that everybody has done as far as, and I hate to be just the Debbie Downer. But I know that the board and the staff works hard. But somebody is dropping the ball in between. The actions get taken here and no actions get taken in between meetings. And that is very disappointing. I've been coming here for years.
When I became chairman, this was one of the things I said in that meeting back then, I wanted to go inside, but I had no intention of doing this too much. It was 28-1-4, and I'm sorry to miss the third one. All right, anything else? Yes, ma'am.
My comment is that the agenda item, call for questions on November ballot, it would have been very helpful to have put those as part of the agenda so that we could digest and hear. If this is good enough for the board to hear, then it should be good enough for the public also to hear. But I don't know if anyone got smarter listening to William read that off. It was quite detailed, and it was. My suggestion is, can we publicize that as well as part of the agenda if we're going to put it on the agenda?
I always get smarter listening to William.
And those are state laws that were passed by the legislature. We have to, I think today was for, and I'm talking to Jerry.
No, we're not even supposed to know the question. We've been asked by the county to put something on the ballot, we have to put it on. The senator voted on it, so the both the Senate and the House passes. So we actually just formality for us, not right.
That's right, and today is just about putting it on there. But I
Well, I think that publicizing it in advance is helpful to everyone who's going to be voting on it in November.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
And for those of us that do voter education, it would really be helpful. So that, because sometimes if somebody doesn't understand it, they're just not gonna vote on it.
And I'll tell you, anything we can do to help with voter education, I'm 100% for. If you want any of us to go talk to schools, any of us to go talk to groups of people, I think anybody on this board would do that.
I mean, we always, I know, but we always vote education. So I think to Gigi's point, it would be helpful if we understood it so that we could tell people, and by the way, there are going to be these 2 questions on the ballot, and here's here's 2 sentences, what it really means.
I would say this, and just to the board, I'm afraid that if other than reading the questions, you get into whether there's someone that's suggesting what answer is going. But our job is to present the question. And I think the proponents and opponents and political parties and things are better to educate on the question.
Look at this, man, it's like, yes, Mark.
Given that we now have this information, what do you think about will be available?
The state did the software package from the state. I don't know the exact date for that. It shouldn't be that much.
What's our
But now we have to send this up and that is about. That'll take a little time, I'm correct. Yes, ma'am.
I'm back on signs. Is it possible to have that big sign that says no voting here on election day? Want to know where you need to go? The big QR code that someone could scan and find out their precinct?
Anything possible.
I mean, that, that would save, or a telephone number to
I'm
call.
hoping to get this electronic sign. Not excited about this meeting.
Phone number, something that people.
Okay, any other for our board? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to reiterate that hopefully for next year, going forward, that in the data, according to the population of areas that we have, and the geographical region, that we should be able to have at least 4, and hopefully 5 to 7 areas.
I don't think anybody on this board disagrees. I think that the precinct concept would kind of pass that and be weirdly set up because people could walk their polls and everything over and then it's much transportation. And that's when a lot of our voters vote on 50% vote over now. And the precincts were pretty much empty during why you could see what stood out there. And so I think you're right, absolutely correct. And we have to change with the time. Our paradigms change. People's habits change, and we need to reflect that. I just think we do go slow in this board. We have very limited staff, and we do the best we can.
How about advertising poll workers?
I think we do that.
On the website. We're always taking applications for poll workers.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it advertised for only on the website?
No. I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure what all is on the county website other than ours.
That's one of you.
There's a fabulous newsletter that's been going out from the election outreach team. Really, really wonderful. And how about putting, my suggestion, how about putting a call for poll workers on that because it is very readable and very, very good to communicate. So that might be a possibility.
All great ideas. Anyone else? Tom?
Yeah.
Second?
Could you repeat that, please? I don't think they heard you, sir. And he's one of the other two.